Parents' Bill of Rights. You can have certain things, and sometimes the school districts don't always follow it. And so we are going to be including in this legislation giving parents a private right of action to be able to enforce the prohibition on CRT, and they get to recover attorney's fees when they prevail, which is very important. And yes, there will be a fortified ability for the State Department of Education to hold people accountable, but honestly, the parents know best what's going on, and they're in the best position to be able to do it. And here's the thing, a lot of times...
Can we talk about... There's a lot going on in this video right now. This woman here, this is my favorite. The shirt, it's not like any... It's not like, you know, make America great again. It's not like, you know, proud conservative. It's just, this shirt says conservative. That's it. Motherfucker. Folks, the shirt just says conservative. Like, why would you, like, that would be like if I wore a shirt that said anarchist. Like, that's a stupid shirt. If I wore a shirt, leftist, socialist, liberal, what kind of fucking shirt is that? And then you got this motherfucker. Like, I know that they're modeling this law after Texas, but do you really need a Texan in the fucking presser? Right? And then you got this weirdo holding the CRT with the sign. And then you got this stupid bitch with the stop woke stop sign bullshit. And then you got this guy who's like hands on the cock right there. I don't know what's going on there, but there's a lot going on.
But will fear lawsuits more than a fine from the State Department of Education, because when you do a lawsuit, you get discovery, and you're subject to that. And when they say they're not doing CRT, and then you have all this information showing that they are doing it, it really is an uncomfortable position for them. So I think that gives parents the ability to go in and ensure that our state standards are being followed, and I think it's something that needs to be done.
What the fuck is this? What is this? Okay, so there's a lot. Parents know best about how to teach their children. That's not true. That is not true even remotely. Let's be honest, folks. Let's be honest. If you're over the age of 30, if like let's be even more charitable. If you're over the age of 40, right now, chances are you're probably really dumb. You don't really know how to use the internet that much. Your schooling, the education that you got as a kid was horrible. It was trash. You were educated in the Reagan years and the Clinton years, motherfucker. You don't know what's going on. You're a fucking dipshit, right? Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Parents don't know what the fuck is going on. They have no idea. They are clueless. They're fucking stupid, okay? So, that's one thing. Again, 45%, we found out in a poll, 45% of Americans pray on a daily basis. If you are praying every day of your life, you are not in any way, shape, or form eligible to teach children about anything. You're a fucking freak show. You're a fucking loser. Get the fuck out of my face, okay? So, with that being said, okay. And also, Stop Woke Act. That's not even grammatically sensible. Stop woke? Woke needs to be stopped. Isn't it like wokeism? Like woke ideology? You don't just stop woke. What the fuck does that mean? So, okay. So the people that don't even know how to speak basic English are going to tell us that they have ultimate rights on what to teach our children? Stop woke. Like, imagine like walking up in the street with a microphone and put it in someone's face. How do you feel about the idea that we should stop woke? They're gonna go, what? Huh? It's wokeism. That's grammar. What the fuck? But okay, so then we're gonna get into the CRT thing. I will never understand it. I want to play this clip. Again, this clip is legendary. And I've been using it a lot because it's great. This sums it up.
What's the most important issue in the governor's race here in Virginia? getting back to the basics of teaching children, not teaching them critical race theory.
And what is critical race theory?
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I don't understand it that much, but it's something that what little bit that I know I don't care for.
And what have you heard that you don't?
Well,
that you don't like?
I'm not going to. I don't have that much knowledge on it, but It's something that I don't care for.
I guarantee you will never, ever, ever, no matter how hard you try, get an answer when you ask someone like this what critical race theory is. And that's the whole idea. So again, the way that the right-wing bullshit works is they take something that sounds abstract, woke. What the fuck is woke? Oh, it means whatever you want it to mean, and the people that listen to you, that think you're an authoritative news source, they will agree with you on what woke means, and they will never be able to describe it. Woke is everything they don't like. So what is critical race theory? Well, where did the term start? In a college lecture lens of analysis on the historical implications of American slavery and stuff. Okay? They're not teaching that to third graders. So when people say there's CRT in our elementary schools, what they mean is they're taking critical race theory to mean it's an abstract thing. It's not, the critical race theory lens of analysis for college classrooms anymore. It's critical race theory. It's they're critical of race. That's what that is. What does that even mean? Okay, what is critical race theory? It's anti-white propaganda. It teaches white kids to be guilty. Huh? What? No one thinks that. No one teaches that. No one wants anyone to think that. White kids are not guilty for slavery, motherfucker. It's bizarre that this needs to be said, but we've got this population of right-wing fucking loser morons that literally think they're in an alternate world, right? They literally think that left-wingers and black people want to teach the beautiful white babies to hate themselves and that they're guilty for slavery. They actually think that. So much so that the governor of Florida, right? The governor of Florida is introducing the Stop Woke Act to combat critical race theory. The governor of Florida. If you asked him what that means, would he be able to answer? No. Not at all. No. Again, this shit is ridiculous. Right? When you read an article, right, or see something, a social media discussion on Christopher Columbus, for example. Remember Columbus Day that just happened? Indigenous Peoples Day, I should say. But, there's that sect that's it's Columbus Day. This is anti-Italian propaganda. I've seen that. People literally think that Indigenous Peoples Day is anti-Italian propaganda. They actually think that. I had these conversations. They're not joking. I know, it has to be a fucking, they're all, doing improv acting, and, we're all, part of, this, it's a modern day version of Punk'd, where we're all just being fucking, strung along by these people that are just pretending to be stupid, right? It feels like that, right? You see this, and there's no way it can be real, but it is. These people are fucking crazy, right? So, the idea that teaching kids that Christopher Columbus is not a hero is critical race theory. What? What? Now again, in his own time, Christopher Columbus was reprimanded for his brutal treatment of indigenous people. When he went back to Europe, everyone was like, bro, what the fuck did you do? So it's not this is 1492, it was a different time, you sailed the ocean blue, all that shit. Literally, in his own lifetime, people are asking him, what the fuck is your problem, bro? In his own lifetime. So, Okay. But then it's also like, you see this, like, and then it goes into, like, the slavery thing, right? Like, this whole, I think like critical race theory is an extension of the 1619 Project outrage, but it's like a more generic term that they can use, so it's more palatable for more dumb people. Like, the 1619 Project, most people, if they don't know what that refers to, they don't know what that means, right? But critical race theory, the kind of white dumb fuck is going to go like, oh, well, that must mean goddamn. It's easier to sell that kind of stupid ass bullshit. Right? So, okay, critical race theory is teaching, like, that Black History Month is racist. I've had these conversations, right? Black History Month is racist because why? How come there's no White History Month? Do you know why we have Black History Month? It's because black people were literally erased from history. A lot of the time, black inventors had their products stolen from them, right? They were written about in contemporary history of the time as villains and as objects. And so we need an entire month. Now, would it be, I think personally, I would say, just integrate black history into the whole curriculum, right? You should be learning about black leaders and historical figures all the time, not just in February, right? But again, the idea is basically the rest of our history is so fucking contaminated by racism and by the erasure of black people that we need to specifically point at that out in February and then list some great black leaders and historical figures, right? That's the idea behind, but why come there's no goddamn White History Month? Every month is White History Month. Like, I'm telling you this, every single month that existed for, like, the last fucking 2,000 years is White History Month, motherfucker. So again, like, these motherfuckers, they have no idea what's going on. If you ask them what CRT is, they're gonna mention, like, white guilt, white guilt, white guilt. If anyone is white and feels personally responsible or guilty for slavery, they're fucking stupid, okay? I'm sorry, they're stupid. You know, instead of, oh, I'm so guilty, I feel so bad. How about, I don't know, do something about it? How about stop being a fucking weirdo, and how about you actually try to advocate for good legislation that's going to fix all these fucking problems? How about you advocate for reparations? How about you advocate for fair schooling, fair housing? How about you advocate to abolish redlining? Because I have met people that are that weird, like, oh, I feel so, like, guilty. It's like, you know, acknowledging reality, like, it sucks to acknowledge reality. Yes, the world as it exists right now and as it always has been is awful. It's awful. It is really, really bad, right? And so, we need to acknowledge how bad it is, and then we need to fix it, right? So feeling personally responsible for slavery, that doesn't really do anything, right? What does do something is, like, I don't know, teaching children about the effects of slavery, right? Like, you know, I don't know, man. Like, the liberal, I'm really, like, you know, the quintessential, like, get out guy who's like, I would have voted for Obama a third time, right? Like, that's, like, who I'm talking about here. There's these sections of liberals that think that, like, oh, yeah, like, you know, I'm going to vote for black people and that's going to that's going to fix the implications of slavery. They're fucking stupid, all right? But again, the right wing, their reaction to all of this, they note, like, oh, there's some weird liberal Karen loser who said something weird in a Facebook group chat that was, you know, the Margarita Monday Facebook group chat for wine moms that, you know, just drop their kids off at soccer practice, right? And then they post there in the car while they wait for their kid, right? That is indicative of all CRT. Like, they take these weird, bizarre examples of, like, liberals just being weird, right? And they turn it into this big thing, and now you're seeing the Stop Woke Act. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't fucking mean anything at all. It's made up garbage. Right? But again, you've got millions and millions and millions of these motherfuckers that literally think that children are being brainwashed to hate America. First of all, that's a good thing. Fuck America. Explain to me why America needs to be defended at all costs. Here's the thing. If you don't want kids to hate America, how about you fix the fucking shit? If kids hating America because if kids hate America, right? If they're like, they start out and they love America, God bless the red, white, and blue, and then they learn about racism, and then they realize none of those problems were ever fixed, and then they hate America now. You know a good way to stop that from happening? Fix the fucking problems. Eliminate redlining. Eliminate housing discrimination. Stop police brutality. Provide reparations. If you don't want kids to hate America, then fix the fucking country. And if you think teaching children about racism is critical race theory, then you're fucking stupid. It's called history, motherfucker. It's history. It's called history. This country fucking sucks. It's always sucked. It was a country founded by slave owners who wanted to be free. If that's not uniquely American, I don't know what is. Slave owners that wanted to be free. Like, imagine that, right? Like, imagine, like, they were writing the Constitution, liberty, freedom, while they had slaves. Can anyone figure that out? Can anyone figure that out? Because I can't. I can't figure that one out. That to me is bizarre. Right? So the idea that critical race theory is bad because they're teaching history, that's really what this boils down to. The right wants to mythologize history. Let's look at the Civil War. The lost cause. Robert E. Lee, the loser of the Civil War, the biggest loser in the history of America. Well, the second biggest loser. The first one's Donald Trump. But the second biggest loser in the history of America said, I don't want anybody to commemorate me. I don't want anyone to have statues about me because we lost. I don't want anyone to dwell on this war. I want the Union to move forward. We lost. We tried and we lost. That was in the 1860s and 70s. He said, we lost. Get over it. We lost. Let's move on. Well, the South, the white Christian right, did not move on. In fact, they tried to find out ways and ways and ways to make moving on as difficult as possible. In fact, we still haven't moved on because of their efforts. So then, right, let's fast forward to the daughters of the Confederacy. Now we're in the 1910s, 20s, and 30s. So these are the children, right, of like people that fought and died, and like maybe like they died. Like all the people are dead now that fought in the Confederate War, the Civil War. They're all dead now. Now these are the kids who are passing on their legacy. Right, and this is where the mythology starts. They're mythologizing it. Oh, they didn't fight a war over the right to own black people. Most Confederate soldiers didn't even own slaves, they say. My question is, why the fuck were they fighting for slavery if they didn't own slaves? Like, how dumb do you have to be? I don't have slaves and I don't benefit at all from this system, but I'm going to fight to the death to preserve it. That doesn't make any sense, right? If they didn't benefit from slavery, they didn't have slaves, why would they fight on behalf of slavery? It doesn't make any sense, right? So this is where the lost cause comes into play. They mythologize them. My daddy was a really good guy. He never owned slaves. He just fought for his heritage. He fought for his people. What? He fucking murdered. He committed murder of American civilians for entertainment. But they'll say that. My daddy never owned slaves. He was a good farmer. Okay, all right, well, if that's the case, why didn't he join the rest of the motherfuckers that went to the North and fought for the Union? If he really didn't benefit from slavery, how come he didn't just go to the other side of the war? Hey, just throwing that out there. But again, the mythology starts. And then that's where you see the explosion of Confederate statues in the 1910s, 20s, and 30s. The Daughters of the Confederacy, along with the Ku Klux Klan, did these events and rallies, right? The KKK would use these Confederate statues. They would take their robes off in the day, right? And then do their fucking other thing at the night with the torches and the fucking robes on. Right? And because they knew that this is how they mainstreamed racism. This is how they mainstreamed racism. As they mythologize the past, they say it wasn't about slavery, it was about states' rights. To what, I ask? Right? And so then, that's in the 1910s, 20s, and 30s. That's the Daughters of the Confederacy. Right? And then you've got the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Now you've got the granddaughters of the Confederacy. These are the people that barely, if at all, knew the ancestors that fought in the Civil War. These are the great-granddaughters of the Confederacy. These motherfuckers did not know them. They know nothing about them. The only stories they've been told were mythologized heroes' tales to make them like their ancestors. I got news for you. I don't even like my fucking, parents that much. I mean, I've only got one of them left, right? But the other one who's not around anymore, not a great parent. Right? Her parents, not so good. That whole side of the family, I think, are abusive motherfuckers. So why would I care at all about my great-great-great-great-grandparents? I don't know them. I don't care about them. They impact my life in no way at all. I have no problem with shitting on them because guess what? Most people that lived in that time period were pretty fucking stupid. Right? So I don't even care about them. But then you've got these people that are proud of their heritage. Proud of their goddamn heritage. And it's all mythology and it's like a game of telephone. Right? You tell your kid, Daddy's gonna fight for freedom, and then they tell their kid, yo, Dad, and then they tell their kid, and then by the time you get to the end of it, it's heritage, not hate. Like, they literally think the Civil War was fought because, Southerners liked biscuits and gravy or something. So we fought a Civil War, right? Because they wanted states' rights to biscuits and gravy and Cracker Barrel. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Right, but if you talk about that, now it's critical race theory. Because again, the American mythology has been so well manufactured and mythologized that anything to the contrary of what the white Christian right believes is critical race theory. It's anti-American. Now, I'm going to be honest. I am anti-American. Fuck America. But guess what? If America all of a sudden got its shit together and decided let's stop being the laughingstock of the world and let's actually do something good for once, I would be pro-America. Because I'm fine with changing my opinion when new information comes out. So anyway, the Stop Woke Act, it doesn't mean anything. Critical race theory doesn't mean anything. This is just the next step of American mythology, and it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's all bullshit, folks. It's all garbage in my asshole. And not the good kind?